Welcome to my YouTube channel Black. I'm Iron, and today I will be showing you the 9th of the series, the 9th day of Digitober. This will be the 9th video to a 31 video series, each for every day of October that I'll be posting soon. And yes, digital Inktober. I know it's weird, but bear with me. It's a little challenge I thought of, using only white and black to do digital drawings. So now without further ado, let's get into it. The 9th word from an old Inktober list I got on the internet is tropical. So now while you enjoy a quick speed paint, I'll be telling you a horror story based on the word tropical. And meanwhile, if you haven't seen the rest of the videos, I'll leave a link in the description so that you can get to them easily. Now the first horror story is by Trip Savvy, and it's called Haunted Caribbean Sites, Attractions and Legends. And these are tropical areas on the planet, I guess. The first one is called Go to Hell. This is a hell from Earth, and it's in Grand Cayman, where visitors delight in sending postcards from hell to their families back home, as well as viewing the creepy million-year-old limestone formations that give the town its name. If you want a taste of some real fire and brimstone, head to Montserrat, where Madame Sophia frequently shows her wrath by spewing steam, lava, and ash and sending fiery boulders tumbling down from her shoulders. For a road trip from hell, visit the Sulphur Springs National Park in St. Lucia, built as the world's only drive-through volcano. 2. Enter the Bermuda Triangle. Growing up in the 1970s, the Bermuda Triangle ranked right up there with the Amityville Horror House among places you don't want to be. Lately, people seem to have forgotten about the Bermuda Triangle, a region also known as the Devil's Triangle, whose geography encompasses a rough triangle between Miami, Puerto Rico, and Bermuda. But take it from Caribbean sailors and pilots, this boat-swallowing, compass-confusing, aircraft-snatching vortex is still out there. The region is the graveyard to a disturbing number of shipwrecks, and the disappearance of an entire squadron of Navy planes in 1945, along with the rescue planes sent to find them. And stories of UFO sightings have added to the Bermuda Triangle legend. 3. Meet the Zombies. Those shuffling staples of B-movies from Night of the Living Dead to Zombieland can be traced in legend to the voodoo, also Voodoo or Voodoo, religion most famously and popularly practiced in Haiti. In fact, the word zombie apparently is derived from the Haitian Creole word sombai, a term for a person who has been brought back to life but is unable to speak and is controlled by a voodoo sorcerer. Some researchers have claimed that voodoo practitioners may be able to exert control by giving a mix of drugs to their victims. Voodoo adherents in Haiti strongly object to such stories. They consider themselves Roman Catholics, but the religion's rituals do include communicating with the spirits of the dead through trances. 4. See the sites of human sacrifices. Anyone who read the book or saw the movie The Ruins will likely never take a cruise shore excursion to the Mayan ruins of Mexico again without thinking twice. The Maya who built the temple at Tulum and Chichen Itza in the Mexican Caribbean frequently practiced human sacrifice, including at the Cenote Sagrado, or sacred sinkhole, of Chichen Itza, where archaeologists have found the skeletal remains of more than 40 men and boys, apparent sacrificial victims. Mexico is also a great place to visit around Halloween since it corresponds with Mexico's Day of the Dead celebrations, Dia de los Muertos. 5. Beware the White Witch of Rose Hall. Oh, and they give us an address and a map and a phone number and a website. Oh god. I'll leave the link in the description for this webpage again if you want to check it out. If you're visiting the Rose Hall area of Jamaica, near Montego Bay, be sure to pay a visit to the Rose Hall Plantation for a spooky tour that features the legend of the White Witch of Rose Hall, Annie Palmer. the wife of a 19th century plantation owner, Palmer, went through a disturbing number of husbands and was believed to be a voodoo mistress. She also was cruel to the slaves who worked on the plantation, including ordering public whippings and torture in a basement dungeon. Palmer's ghost is said to haunt the plantation house, which now is home to a bar and restaurant. The nearby White Witch Golf Course, part of the Ritz-Carlton Rose Hall Resort, is named in her debut's honor. She killed a bunch of people and they're like, here, we shall build this in your honor. Okay. Seek the lost city of Atlantis. Some might say that it's easy to find Atlantis in the Caribbean. Just go to Nassau and cross the bridge to Paradise Island. But did you know that investigators into the legend of the lost city of Atlantis say the doomed city may have been located off the coast of Cuba or near Bermuda or the Bahamas? Legendary prognosticator, I thought it said procrastinator. I was like, that's me. Edgar Cayce claimed that the ruins of Atlantis would be found in the South Atlantic, and the discovery of underwater stones cut into geometric shapes off the island of Bimini seemed to support the theory. In 2001, however, underwater explorers discovered stones laid out in a geometric pattern in 2,100-foot deep waters off Cuba, led to speculation that the sunken remnants of Atlantis had at last been found. The next one is Dead Man Tell No Tales. Port Royal, Jamaica, the island of Tortuga near Haiti, and the port of New Providence, Nassau, in the Bahamas were some of the most infamous pirate towns of the Caribbean, and the region abounds with tales of bloody pirate attacks, hidden pirate loot, and all too real public executions of those convicted of piracy on the high seas. The ghost of the infamous pirate Blackbeard is said to haunt several places in the Caribbean, including the British colonial Hilton, which sits on the former site of old Fort Nassau. The pirate Gallico Jack was just one of the buccaneers hung at Gallows Point in Port Royal, which was destroyed in an earthquake in 1692, an event that some saw as divine retribution for the town's wicked ways. The next one is Be a Sucker for Vampire Bats and Spooky Caves. This one gives us an address, a phone number, and a website too. Bats are abundant in the Caribbean, and Trinidad is home to one of the few species of vampire bats in the world. Tourists can easily encounter bats by visiting the ruins of old plantation homes and mills, such as in the Virgin Islands National Park on St. John, or in their natural habitat, like the caves at Rio Camuy Cave Park in Puerto Rico. And it's time to move to the next webpage, because the next ones don't seem that interesting. This one is more geared at the mermaid that's in the drawing. And this story is called The Little Mermaid Involves a Literal Bloodbath. The Little Mermaid is a sinister morality tale by 19th century Danish author Hans Christian Andersen. Like the beloved Disney film, it follows a mermaid's quest to win the heart of the handsome prince whose life she saves from the water. Unlike the beloved Disney film, the original story takes a dark turn when the mermaid is unable to win the prince's heart. Mute and alone, she is doomed to be transformed into sea foam because fish girls have no souls and cannot go to heaven. Her sisters sell their hair to the sea witch in exchange for a dagger that the mermaid must use to pierce the prince in his sleep. If she lets his blood wash over her feet, she will regrow her tail and return to the ocean. The heroine stands over the sleeping prince with a dagger for a long time, but cannot follow through with the dreadful act. Because she resisted taking him, angels appear and let her know she can work for several hundred years doing good deeds, and then perhaps she may obtain an immortal soul and go to heaven. That wasn't that bad. Another one is a Japanese mermaid has a snake body and fangs. That's freaking weird. It's only a snake body and a human head. Sure, it's unsettling to think about a half-fish person, but what about a half-snake person? This Japanese myth is known as the Nurona, and she has the face and hair of a woman, but the eyes and teeth of a snake. Nurona sits by the shore, trick humans into thinking she is a distressed mother holding a baby. If a passerby picks up her bundle, it becomes so heavy it pins them to the rocks. Then Nurona uses her long, pointed tongue to drain their blood at a pace that suits her. In some versions of the tale, she even strangles her victims with her pretty tail. Oh, it's supposed to be pretty? It looks really bad in the webpage. The next one is the blue men of the Minch have a taste for human flesh. Scottish folklore tells of a strange group of creatures that inhabit one particular strait. According to the legend, they would appear in groups with only their torsos raised out of the water. These blue men of Minch would wave to sailors in a friendly manner, and the sailors would assume they were innocent people in need of rescue. But when the sailors got closer, they would see the unnatural blueness of the men's skin and the elongated, twisted features of their faces. Unfortunately, sailors close enough to recognize the blue men were close enough to become prey. The blue men would drag them into the water and feast on their flesh. So these are like mermen. And the next one is those seductive sirens were actually horrific monsters. I think everyone knows this. The Odyssey details one man's quest to get home, despite the machinations of a lot of evil women. Thanks, Greek mythology in parentheses. But of all these seductresses Odysseus faces, none stand out quite like the sirens. These creatures are commonly depicted as mermaids, whose beauty equals that of their deadly songs. However, in the original text, the sirens have the bodies of birds, and the only beautiful thing about them is their singing. This makes them more like harpies, who are traditionally the personification of lethal storm winds. Either way, you're likely facing a shipwreck. The next story, probably the last this time, is called The First Mermaid was the result of a suicide attempt. Perhaps the oldest known mermaid myth is the siren tale of Artargates. She was a goddess who fell in love with a human shepherd, but her divine strength accidentally took his life. Overcome with grief and guilt, Artargates attempted to take her own life in the ocean. Gods usually turned into fish when they dove into the sea, but the goddess was too beautiful for that fate. The transformation stopped halfway through, and she became the first mermaid. And that's it for the horror stories. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did, and I hope this makes you want to subscribe, leave a comment, leave a like, and hit the notification bell. I'll see you next time in the next video. Remember to check it out, or remember to check out the earlier ones. I'll leave their link in the descriptions, okay? See ya.